Hello, hey guys, welcome back to another update brought to you by Deccan Storms 2. We got Tropical Depression Sulik making landfall. We've got Tropical Storm Pollution, whatever it's called. Pollution's probably moving towards China, and that's pretty much moving in the same area where Yagi moved into. Should become a weak system or something. We do have an area of we do have some more activity in the Atlantic again. That Caribbean storm that I was on about has moved up to 40% chance. I've got the remnants of Gordon, which won't form, and I've got this little area of interest here, which does look interesting. Which it probably, if it does form, it probably will move up towards the north and become a subtropical storm. Probably will become a subtropical storm around about up here somewhere or over here. If that does happen, that will become Isaac, because this one will be Helene if this forms. 40% chance. Northwestern Caribbean Sea and southeastern Gulf of Mexico. A broad area of low pressure could form by early next week over the western and northwestern Caribbean Sea. Thereafter, gradual development of the system is possible. A tropical depression could form as the system moves slowly to the north or northwest over the northwestern Caribbean Sea and into the southern Gulf of Mexico through the middle part of next week. So they're giving that 40% chance in the next 7 days and a 0 in the next 48 hours. So if you guys live anywhere from Florida all the way to Texas, keep an eye on this system. Yes, models have it shifting more west, some models have it shifting east, some models have it making landfall in Florida, some models have it making landfall in Mexico, some models have it making landfall in Louisiana, but yeah, wherever it just makes landfall, just get your hurricane preparedness kits ready, because you know what it's like at this time of year. I mean, storms that go in this general area of the Gulf of Mexico over here could just really blow up. I mean, Francie's went like this. Okay, Francie didn't go in that general area, but there was a big Etty over here near Texas. And now, if the storm does move, hypothetically like this, moves over that Etty, he'll have all the time, all of the room to really explode and become a powerful Cat 4 hurricane, which I don't think that will happen. I think if it's going to become a major, it'll probably be a moderate Cat 3 to weak Cat 4. That's what I'm predicting anyway for now. That can change. But we are officially in a La Nina right now, guys. As you can see, that massive decline that we had late August into early September, a massive decline as you can saw that we had in August, and now it's moving down. And this is what should make the Atlantic a lot more active. But you can see the Gulf of Guinea over here is cooler than average, which is indicating that the Atlantic is not really that active, because okay, yes, we've had more Saharan air layer. More Saharan air layer in the Atlantic. Yes, it's the dry air usually presides by now, and you usually get a lot of moist air around in the Atlantic near these areas. And as back-to-back hurricanes can just form and move west and hit the US and stuff, but the MJO hasn't really been in the Atlantic or in the East Pac. Okay, it has been in the East Pac when we had that early activity, when we had Carlotta, Gilmer, and all that. It was in the thing, and then we did have, when we had that early burst of activity like Debbie, Ernesto. That was when the MJO was in the Atlantic, but the MJO hasn't been in the Atlantic for a long persistent of time. It's been more over in the Western Pacific. This is why you see the Western Pacific being a lot more active. That's why the West Pack has a lot more named storms than the Atlantic, than the East Pack. Usually the East Pack would have more named storms than the Atlantic, which it has, but it's both the Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific has had one major hurricane. The West Pack has had more majors than both of those two combined and one Cat 5, which I personally believe that Yagi was 170, and I personally believe that Beryl, when it formed over here, was 175 miles an hour. But anyway, let me show you the model runs, because some of the model runs do have interesting takes. The GFS has it moving further west. The European model has it moving further east. It's the other way around. The ECFWF, the European model, has it moving further towards the west. But the GFS has it moving further towards the east. If you don't know what, this is the east, by the way. That's the east. This is the west. So the European model has it moving further this way, and the GFS has it moving further this way, if you know what I mean. And now I'm going to show you the storm. You can see that area of interest here. It probably doesn't. If this becomes Helene before the system over here, then this will be Helene and this will be Isaac. This is the remnants of Gordon, probably just moving out towards the open Atlantic Ocean right now. Yeah, moves out towards the open ocean. We have Helene, Helene there, which moves out towards the open ocean as well, with the remnants of Gordon there. We have this area of interest, which is what I was telling you about, this area of low, which could become, if we have Helene and Isaac, if this one could become Isaac, if it forms, let me see if it forms, but the model ones do have it forming, so we could have Isaac, and we could have Joyce out there as well. But that one, they do have it as a Category 3 hurricane. Cat 3 hurricane. So back-to-back major hurricanes on Monday, which is, I mean, that's you don't usually see back-to-back majors, especially at the end of September, usually. But if this does happen, the Atlantic's A's will be pretty high, because that means this storm would have been moving over towards this way and out towards the open ocean, not really affecting anyone. Then you'll have this storm, which is moving towards Louisiana, which I hate to say it again, but Louisiana, you could have this as a powerful major hurricane hit, making landfall near you. Hopefully it should weaken to a Category 3, hopefully, but most of the model runs do want it, going over. Yeah, they do want it going over over the thingy. But we could have, basically, so we could have 1, 2. We could have 1, 2, 2. Oh, we could have 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. We could have 4 storms to form in later part of September, which is potentially possible because the MJO is meant to be moving into the Atlantic. So you got the remnants of Gordon, which eventually the remnants of Gordon should reform again. So we could have Gordon reforming again. We could have Helene out there. We could have Isaac out there and Joyce, but depends which one gets named first. I potentially think the one in the MDR will get named first. Now, if this does actually happen, this will be our first actual true MDR storm this year. The one that actually has moved and formed in the MDR. That is south of the Cabo Verde Islands, which is a good sign that the intertropical convergence zone has moved a lot further south now, because it was a lot further north than anticipated. But you can see, don't forget, this is when this form when both of these systems do form. This is on the 24th. This is next Tuesday. This is a week away. They haven't marked this system yet. They haven't marked this one yet. I think they will do in the next couple of days. As soon as they mark this one, they're probably going to mark this other one after Helene moves forward. But we could have Helene, Isaac, Joyce, and maybe Kirk as well. So the Atlantic could be getting pretty active very soon. And after we've had these systems, we could have another storm which could become Kirk here after that. And then after that, pretty much, we could have another storm to form in the Caribbean, which, if that does happen, that will be Leslie. And that should become a hurricane as well. 987 millibars, making landfall near Honduras and Nicaragua. And then that's it. That's on October 5th. And then the Atlantic should be quiet again after that. So that's a burst of activity that we should have had in late August. We should have had this burst of activity late in August and early part of September. But in September, we've had Francine and we've had Gordon. That's it. We've only had 2 named storms in September. Usually, you'll get like 5, 6, 7, 8, probably 9, or maybe even 10 named. If it's an active season like 2020, we had 12, 13 named storms in the month of September. Maybe more in 2020. Now, don't forget, take this as a grain of salt. That Caribbean storm might not form on October 5th. It might not form, but it is expected to become a hurricane. So that's but Florida, you really need to watch out for this system. Should be making landfall a little bit where Dahlia may landfall, probably a little bit further more towards the east than Dahlia. But yeah, we could have Helene, we could have Isaac and Helene, we could have Isaac and Joyce moving out at the same time. The storm moves up, and then we have this storm, which is still a major hurricane, by the way. Rapidly weakening as it heads towards the north. And then you got this area of interest, which is from a gyre again, from the Central America gyre, don't forget, again. And it actually reforms again and becomes a hurricane over Honduras and Nicaragua. And it could actually, now, it does this kind of a track. Now it could move up towards the north and hit Florida, become a major hurricane. Or it could carry on moving towards the west and just die off. Or it could just carry on just moving towards the east-southwest and just move over the mountainous terrain of South America. And you do have a little area spin in the East Pac. Now, talk about the East Pac. Let's have a look at the Eastern Pacific, actually, because the East Pac could actually have a couple more named storms as well, like the Atlantic's supposed to be, because the MJO is meant to be moving into the Atlantic, into the East Pac very soon, actually, very soon. The East Pac has had 1 named storm in September, but we are meant to be having a hurricane in September, actually, in the East Pac. So that could be pretty interesting, actually. That could be interesting. If you can see, we've got a 1,002 millibar storm here. That rapidly intensifies, becomes a Category 2, moves towards the south, and actually moves towards Mexico. And then you have another system which hypothetically, Yeah, it actually rapidly organizes. So we could have two more systems, one hurricane, could try make a run for major hurricane status, and then that just dies off quickly as it heads towards the mountains. Obviously, makes landfall and just dies off. Obviously, due to the wind shear of this potential storm in the Atlantic, which is massive, by the way. It is massive. Moves into the northern Bay of Campeche, and it just literally just slows down pretty much near a crawl and just explodes. Gets from it gets from 990 millibars to 987. 987, 984. 984, it gets from 984, okay, to 981, 981 to 975, 975 to 968, and then just completely explodes. 946 millibars. That is Cat 4 status. That is Category 4 status. 946 millibars. That is equivalent to 140 miles an hour. If you roughly round it up. And it's a massive storm as well. It's massive. That is massive. And obviously it does weaken a little bit to 950, which is, thank God for that, probably due to either an overall replace cycle or a little bit of a wind shear, and then weakens it down to, I think it actually weakens it down to borderline Cat 3, borderline Cat 2. So it depends. This model can change. It might not change, but you don't know. It can. And then we have another potential storm. We could have three storms in the Atlantic's meant to be a lot more active than the East Pac, and we could have another area of spin, which I didn't even notice, in the Bay of Campeche, right there. You see, look, a little area of vorticity. Doesn't do much. It just heads towards Veracruz and just dies off. But yeah, I mean, this same system in that you see over Central America, it literally moves in towards the west. Looks like it's moving to west and then dips north again. So could actually dip north, and this one does move north. It could become a major in the Gulf again. That means we would have had two major hurricanes in the Gulf if that does happen. But the East Pac is meant to be a little bit. The East Pac's probably not meant to be a lot more active now, due to that La Nina that has officially formed now. The West Pac, though, is, if you look on the West Pac, there is meant to be one more system that's try and develop. A couple more systems that just try and develop, and that's pretty much it. That's just pretty much it. I mean, you don't see any system that tries to reform or tries to form. After these two systems, that's it. The MJO moves into the Atlantic and the East Pac, and then it goes on again. And it could actually stay in the East Pac, in the Atlantic, pretty much for the rest of the year now, for sure. But in the West Pac, you don't really need the MJO, because the West Pac is active all year round, regardless if the MJO is in there or not. But we do have to. We'll have to keep an eye out in the Atlantic for sure, because we could have two. We could have two major hurricanes. If hypothetically, if this storm over here does move towards the north and becomes a major hurricane, in that general area, we would have had 4 major hurricanes this year. But I think we're probably only going to end on the season as 3. I think we might get one more in very late October, like super late October, I think. But other than that, that's all I have time for today, guys. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who is going to be impacted by these two systems, by the system in the Gulf of Mexico. So if you live anywhere in this vicinity, if you live anywhere in this part of the base, in this part here, and as the storm's meant to be moving up towards that way, please get your preparedness kits ready for this system. It doesn't matter if it doesn't become a Cat 3. Like Francine was supposed to become a major. It didn't become a major. So just get your hurricane preparedness kits ready, because the Atlantic could be active at the end of this month. At the end of this month. And you know what the Atlantic's like at the end of this month? Yeah, it can just throw out storm after storm after storm after storm. We saw it in 2017. We saw it last year. We saw it in 2021, and we saw it in 2020. It could throw out storm after storm after storm when the MJO's in there. So just get your hurricane preparedness kits ready, and if you live there where I've just highlighted, get pretty much, because it's going to be pretty much making landfall where. A little bit where Idalia made landfall last year. So stay tuned for consistent updates. I will probably be doing daily uploads now. As soon as this system forms, I'll be doing daily uploads. So as soon as the system gets named, I will do daily uploads every single day. Okay? And I'll go live when it makes landfall if it's not at night time. If it's during the day, I'll go live. So stay tuned. As it's meant to be making landfall on Monday, which is actually, it was supposed to be making landfall on Saturday, the other days, but yeah, as Sadie, it could be a major still, and I'll cover it for you, Sadie. But yeah, if you live pretty much near Pensacola, this area of Florida, if you live anywhere here, the storm could just do that, or it could just carry on moving north, or it could even do a loop to loop and just hit Florida, which is hypothetically not going to happen, but you don't know what the system's going to do. So stay tuned, stay safe, and I shall see you all in the next update, and it's a goodbye for me.